Hello everyone, my name is Bree. I'm only using my audio today, so I uploaded a picture of myself. In this video, we're going to be going over a portion of Chapter 4, which is over substance use disorders. First, we're going to go over psychological versus physiological dependence. These are really important to understand because several other concepts within this chapter go back to these terms. So with psychological dependence, the mind is dependent on the substance. This is when a person can't stop thinking about the substance and they really want to take that substance again and they just can't focus on anything else. So with this, emotional or motivational symptoms are common, and those are those intense cravings or not being able to concentrate or feeling restless when not taking the drug. With physiological dependence, the body is dependent on the substance. So this is when the body needs the substance to feel normal. If the body doesn't have it, then they'll feel physiological symptoms such as sweating or vomiting, things like that. So within physiological dependence, there are two other important terms to know, that is tolerance and withdrawal symptoms. Tolerance is whenever the body becomes so used to the drug, they've taken it so many times that they aren't feeling those same results as they once did. So they need to up the dosage to continue to feel the substance and get those same results. With withdrawal symptoms, this is when a person tries to quit using the drug or maybe cut down on the drug and they start feeling those physiological symptoms such as sweating or vomiting when they aren't taking the drug. With physiological and psychological dependence, which comes first? So typically psychological dependence comes first because the experience with the drug is just based on memories. And so if a person has one really great experience with the substance, they may have had an awesome time with it, and then they'll want to do it again. They'll have those cravings and they'll just remember that great experience and they want it again. After that, they'll develop physiological dependence, which is based on changes in the brain. So those could include increases in dopamine or neuroadaptation. And these changes take longer to lead dependence, so that's why it takes a little longer for a person to experience physiological dependence. So the next thing we're going to go over is substance use disorder. So let's start by defining it. Substance use disorder is a cluster of cognitive, behavioral, and psychological symptoms indicating that the person continues using the substance despite problems. So this is basically just saying that a person has become addicted to something. So they're having all three of those symptoms: cognitive, behavioral, psychological, and no matter how many bad things happen while using that substance, they just have to keep using it. So this usually includes several common problems, but some of the main ones are they can't control substance use. So, they just have those really bad cravings and they just can't stop using it. Another one is social impairment. So they probably will have a difficult time fulfilling work, school, house, any type of responsibilities they have in their life. They're going to have difficulties with that. Another one is using substance in risky situations. So this could include using that substance while driving, and it could put them in a dangerous situation. And then the last one is physiological dependence, which we talked about earlier, and that includes tolerance or withdrawal. So now let's go over the questions for this section. Number 1, Hattie has used cocaine for a long time. When she doesn't have access to cocaine, she has extreme cravings and becomes very restless. Hattie is showing signs of physiological dependence, psychological dependence, withdrawal, or tolerance. So this is when Hattie is not using cocaine. She has cravings and she is restless. So both of these symptoms are psychological symptoms. And so, if you remember back to when we talked about dependence, these both fall in psychological dependence. So the answer is B, psychological dependence. Number 2, in what order do physiological and psychological dependence develop? So normally psychological dependence develops first because it's based on memories of the substance. And so they'll have a really great experience maybe, and then they'll just want to continue to do it again and again. And after they use it for a while, then they'll start developing physiological symptoms. So the answer to this one is B, psychological dependence typically develops first. Number 3, Katie decided to try going a day without her morning cup of coffee. Around lunchtime, she was grumpy and had a headache. Katie is showing signs of addiction, tolerance, withdrawal, or a disorder. So this is when Katie tried to not drink coffee like she normally does, and she had these symptoms, these physiological symptoms. And so the answer to this one is C, withdrawal, because she was having some symptoms after she tried to quit drinking her coffee. So the answer is C. That was the end of this section, so good luck on your test. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or your ULA.